Hello, Algebra 2 standard students. How are you? This is a practice for your upcoming exam. And I wish I could put all of the types that you are supposed to know on here, but I can't. This, however, I trust will help you. So may God guide us as we take a look at this together. What I've got here is I've got some practice questions, which I'll do some, and then you can just go ahead and do the others as you watch with me. Get a sheet of paper, a pencil or a pen, so that you can be working alongside with me, all right? So we start off in the complex numbers. It says find the complex conjugate of each complex number. The first one is 4 minus 5i. And the complex conjugate for that is just going to be just the negation or the negating of the complex part. So this right here would be very simply, it's going to be 4. Let me get a pen. I thought I had a pen ready. It's going to be the same 4, but instead of minus, now it's going to be plus 5i. So you don't touch the real part, but you change or you negate the complex part. So what do you think this would be? Number 2. The complex conjugate, that's an expression. The complex conjugate of 4 minus 5i is 4 plus 5i. What do you think this is? I'm sure you can get it. Write it down somewhere. This is number 2. It's going to be negative 6 minus 2i. This one is going to be u for you. How about this now? Multiplying the complex numbers. Well, we have 6i on the outside. This 6i is a complex number. It does not have a real part. But this one has a real part. The real part here is the 4. Imaginary part is the 5i. So we're going to multiply 6i times 4. It's a positive 6i times a positive 4. And the I is just like x. So this is going to give me, as you would expect, it be 24i. And then this positive 6i with a negative 5i is going to give me a minus 30. And I times I is I squared. Okay, now you could simplify that by remembering wherever you see I squared is going to be equal to what? Negative 1. So this should be 24i minus 30. Instead of I squared, you can write negative 1. So the final answer here, the negative 30 and the negative 1 is going to give you a what? Positive 30, right? Positive 30 plus what? It's going to be 24i. 24i. Okay, and that's not made properly. Let me try that again. Make it 24i. All right, let's go over that again. 6i times 4 is going to be 24i. And then 6i times negative 5i is going to be a negative, because positive and negative will give you a negative 30i squared. But I squared is always going to be negative 1. That's what I want you to remember. So wherever you see I squared, you put negative 1. So it's going to be 30 times negative 1. That's going to be a positive 30, and that will be the real part, plus 24i. How about this one? Okay. 4i times 7 is going to be 28i. And 4i, positive 4i, that is times a negative 3i, is going to give us a negative 12i squared. What did I tell you about I squared again? Yes, It's going to be negative 1 times negative 12. So this would be a positive 12. And what's left over here would be plus 28. So that's for you. Make sure you go ahead and do it now. Okay, take some time and do it now. You can write your answer on the line. And now solve by factoring. Solve by factoring. This one we're going to be looking for two numbers which when you multiply them together you get a positive 12. When you add them you get a positive 7x. So of course to find x squared we go x squared times x squared. Sorry, x times x for x squared. And now two numbers multiplied together to give you a positive 12, such that when you add them you get 7. Oh, those numbers will have to be 3 and 4. Okay, so we put that equal to 0. And listen carefully now. If you're multiplying two things together, here's one, here's another to get 0. Either one must be 0, the first one must be 0, or the second one must be 0. So how can x plus 3 be 0? X plus 3 can be 0 if x is negative 3. So that's one solution. If x is negative 3. Okay, let's see where we are. Oh, we're right here. Sorry. We have x plus 3 times x plus 4. That's where we are. And what I was saying is that what x value would make this 0? X would have to be negative 3. Negative 3 plus 3 would be 0, so x would have to be negative 3. How about this one? What x value would make this 0? X would have to be negative 4. X equals negative 4. All right. So those will be the two solutions. I would like you to listen carefully as we do this one together. We're solving by factoring. So we're looking for the two binomials. One would be here, one would be here. Two numbers which when we multiply them we get 20, such that now when we add them we get negative 9. Well, we know it's going to be an x times an x. That would give me x squared. And now which two numbers when we multiply them we get 20, such that when we add them we get 9. It's have to be a negative 4 and a negative 5. Negative 4 times negative 5 is 20. And when you add negative 4 and negative 5 you get what? Positive 9. So here now, in order for this to work, either this parentheses has to be 0 or this one has to be 0. How can the first one be 0? Yes, if x is 4. So one solution, you can see from a mile away if x is 4. And how can the second parentheses be 0? Yes, if x is 5. And this number 8 is for you. Okay, so you go ahead and do number 8. Similar to how we did this, it's called solving by factoring. And when you get down here, use the quadratic formula. You're going to do number 8 right here. So you say, what is this quadratic formula again? I'm glad you asked. It's a formula we can use to solve it. We can solve by factoring like we did here. And I'd like you to watch carefully because I'm going to use this same equation and solve it now by the quadratic formula. You'll see that the answers come out to be the exact same. So here comes the quadratic formula. I'd like you to say it with me. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root. Are you with me? Of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So for this one, we're going to identify our A, B, and C as follows. So let's go ahead and do it. A, B, C. A is going to be 1, understood before the x squared. B is what? 7. And C is 12. So what do we have? We're going to put the B in here. The B is 7 plus or minus square root. B squared is going to be 7 squared minus 4 times A is 1, times C is 12, all over 2A. And 2 times A is 2 times 1. So this will work out to be 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared, which is 49, minus 4 times 1 times 9. That's going to be 4 times 9 is 36. All over 2 times 1 is 2. This further reduces or works out to be 49 take away 36 is going to give me square root of 3 square root of 13 over 2. That will be the answer. 7 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 2. Okay. So yours is going to be this one to work this out. Hang on a minute. Something doesn't seem right here. Let me see. 4 times A times C. This is 36, 49. This is, Let me see. A, 7, B. Yeah, this is right. Let me see. 7 squared minus 4 times A times C. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Here it should be, this is 12. Here 12 times 4 is 48. I'm glad I looked at it. This is 48 right here. So 49 take away 48 is 1. 1. So this would be 7 plus or a minus 1 over 2. So let's take the positive first. 7 plus 1 will give me 7 plus 1 over 2. That's 8 over 2. So one solution here would be 4. And the other solution would be 7 minus 1. And I forgot the negative where it is. It should be a negative 7 right here. Sorry about that. Negative 7 plus 1. Let me do this again. Negative 7 plus 1 is going to be negative 6. And it should be negative 7 here. Like this. So this should be negative 7 plus 1 over 2, which is negative 6 over 2, or negative 3. And the other solution would be negative 7, and the mistake was from here, negative 7, not plus now, but minus 1 over 2, which is negative 8 over 2, which is negative 4. So those are the two solutions. And that confirms what we got before, negative 3 and negative 4. So I'd like you to use the quadratic formula and practice on this one and also that one. All right? God bless you and guide you. Bye-bye.